Okay, looks like I'm live. Welcome everybody that's tuned in. This is my first time actually going live. I'm not sure how this is going to end up turning out. So y'all bear with me. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Let's do entire screen. Okay. So this is the image that we're going to be working on today. And I'm just going to make a few adjustments. I'll start off with the exposure. Oops. I'll say probably like -16, -15. I'll take that. Contrast, we'll bring that up to 1. Brightness, let's bring it down just a little. Highlights, let's bring this down to about -11. Let's boost up the whites to about 6, 7. Now, in order to introduce contrast, instead of messing with this, I'd rather mess with the curves. Let's see, my shadows, let's bring it to 2. Highlights will go all the way to 251. I'm already liking how this looks. Now let's fix this white balance. Okay, I like this white balance right here. Let's bring it down, make it a little cooler. Okay, I'll take that. Now I'm going to work on just the background. In order to make sure that my white balance is correct, I'm gonna boost the saturation all the way up to see if there's a difference. I see slightly a blue haze, but that's because I lowered the blues. So I'm just going to make that even by turning off that saturation. Well, bringing it all the way down. Now let's introduce a little more light. I think I like how this looks. I don't want to overdo it, so we'll stick with this for now. Now let's go ahead and bring this into Photoshop. Make sure it's 16-bit image and the profile is RGB. Okay, first let's duplicate this layer and let's get rid of some of these distractions. Generative fill, I don't have to type in anything. I'm also going to be retouching today in Photoshop Beta. It has a few newer features. Until it's updated to the other Photoshop, I'll just be using this one for now. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna also pull up YouTube on my phone to see if anybody has any questions. They'll be able to ask me. How do I do this? Live videos. Okay, boom. Okay, I like how that looks. Let's go ahead and merge these layers. The next thing I want to do here is clean the background. So I'm going to create a brightness and contrast layer, take the brightness all the way down and the contrast all the way up so I can see how dirty the floor actually is. Of course, to the naked eye, you won't be able to see all of this, but I'm a perfectionist and I have slight OCD. So let's get this cleaned up. I'm going to go to my Retouch for Me panel and put Clean Backdrop. I love these plugins. They literally speed up your workflow by up to 60%, in my opinion. Just waiting for that to load up. Okay, let's go ahead and apply. I think it did a pretty decent job before and after. So let's turn this off. Look at this mask, make sure it didn't select the model at all. Perfect. Now let's do a before and after. After, perfect. Let's go ahead and merge that. Get rid of the layers that we don't need. The next thing I want to do is clean up some of these blemishes. So I'm going to go to an area that has a lot of texture. like right here. And I'm going to press F4. I'm going to use one of my actions. And the goal is to blur out this image until I no longer see texture. I think about 6 should do the job. Let's see. Texture, no texture. I'll go with 6. The next step, this should be 50% gray. You shouldn't be able to see too much color. That lets you know you picked a good radius. And these are my settings. Of course, if you're using a JPEG to retouch, you're going to put subtract here, and the numbers will be, I believe, 2 and 128. Let's see. I'm not even sure, but it doesn't really matter to me because I only retouch raw images. So here's my settings. Okay, now we're gonna zoom out a little bit. We're gonna cut the texture back on. Contrast, we're gonna bring this down. I just wanna be able to see the blemishes. So let's clean the blemishes up. I'm gonna put the clone stamp tool, make sure it's on current layer. And here we go. So all I'm doing right now is just removing some blemishes. And because I'm doing frequency separation, it has separated my picture into 2 layers. The top layer only has texture and the bottom layer only has the luminosity and the colors. So this ensures that all I'm doing is removing blemishes and not affecting colors at all, which is pretty cool. Now, y'all bear with me for some parts of this edit. I won't be speaking. I'm trying to work on multitasking. I'm not too good at it. So I gave y'all the heads up. That clicking and clacking that you hear, that's me pressing Option on my keyboard. Option helps me to pick a selection of skin that I want to use to replace the blemishes that I'm removing. Yeah, she doesn't have many blemishes, so this should be fairly easy. She has really good skin. Okay. This part might be a little tricky since it's so close to the outer edge of her skin, but it worked. So that's cool. Okay. See, I told y'all sometimes forgetting to speak because it's hard to multitask for me. So y'all bear with me. Once again, for anybody tuning in now, all I'm doing is removing blemishes, nothing too crazy. So far, everything looks good to me. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and close this layer. Get rid of this contrast. Get rid of these. Now for everything that we couldn't remove with frequency separation, I'm just going to use my remove tool and see what happens. This is what I use for like strands of hair like this. And it gets rid of them. Just help get rid of some of the distractions. Okay, who's texting me? Not right now. Okay, let's see if we can work on necklines. Once again, the remove tool is good if you are not using frequency separation. It doesn't matter how close you get to the edge, this always works. Anything that distracts me, I'm just going to use this remove tool. I wonder will it work on this? Let's see. I'll take it. Yeah, I didn't like that. Let's take that off. Okay, I think that should be good for now. I'm gonna work on this trench coat. You want to get rid of any loose strings or anything that doesn't look too even. I wish I had some music playing or something. Hey Alexa, play some rain sounds. Hopefully that don't put y'all to sleep, but it's very soothing for me. Okay, so I'm going to name this layer blemishes. Now we're going to do some micro dodging and burning first. Let's use my plugin for dodging and burn. Go ahead and apply it. And these are the areas that it's going to affect. I'm going to turn this to soft light. Before, after, before, after. Let's zoom in. Okay, so I'll turn this down just a little. I like that. Blemishes. Boom, boom. All right, so now I have another action for my micro dodging and burn that I'm about to play right now by pressing F3. This is an input check layer that just helps me see the inconsistencies and the brightness and the dark areas of the image. And I can adjust it at any time. All right, let's get to work. So basically any parts that you see is white, I'm going to paint over it with white. Any parts that you see dark, I'm going to paint over it dark as well. Because it's inverted, it's going to actually do the opposite for me. So I'll be darkening the light areas and lightening the dark areas. And my flow is only at 2%, so I can make this like a gradual increase. I don't want to put too much dip on my chip. Okay, I'm getting a YouTube notification. Let's see what this says. Okay, that's something different. So basically, I'm busy. So basically anything that says, anything that's white is what I'm going to be painting on. Mhm. Anything that's black, I'm going to be painting black on that. The reason I like micro dodging and burning is because it helps make the image look more natural when you're retouching it versus using just frequency separation where you're mixing colors around. It's easy for you to go overboard and overly retouch the image to the point where it starts to look fake and plastic like a cartoon, where you don't see any skin textures or anything. This helps you with that because now you're targeting the dark and lighter areas and the inconsistencies in the tonality range. That way, when you go to frequency separation, you can focus on literally just colors and nothing else. It makes your job a lot easier. It makes it harder for you to mess up. For the first round, I don't really typically zoom in. When you zoom in and make these micro adjustments, sometimes that's what the human. I'm done so far as soon as I do this real quick. All right, so we have before, after, before, after, and that's what we've done so far. So we're just going to go and continue to micro dodge and burn. So far, I'm liking how it's looking. Just go ahead and attack some of these areas and always adjust your size of your brush as well. That really helps you out. And of course, it helps if you have something to listen to, like some music or calming sounds. That's not going to make you go to sleep, of course, but just help you focus a little more. Now, with this check layer, a lot of these things I wouldn't be able to see for me to go ahead and adjust it, but these check layers help me see these things a lot better. And this makes the skin overall look more seamless and more smooth. One of my most favorite underrated techniques out right now. Like this area, I didn't even see this earlier, but this invert check layer is helping me to see that. I think I am going to zoom in a little. Oops, wrong color. I think it's time for me to zoom out again. Zoom out. All right, now I'm gonna grab my phone really quick and check YouTube to see if I got any notifications. Okay. Live. Okay, nothing so far. Okay. For the person that is tuned in, if you have any questions, make sure you write me. I'm available to answer any questions that you have. Now let's look at it before and after. Before, after. Okay, I need to use some more white. For now, I think this should be good. Let's look at the rest of her body. Let's zoom out a little. Okay, looking good so far. Let's zoom into the chest area. Paint a little more black here. Don't want to go overboard. I think that's good enough. I'm just going to hit her face right here a little bit. Okay, so let's turn this check layer off. Let's look at the before and after. Before, after. Oh, this is before, I'm sorry. That's after. Now for the second round, we're going to switch things up a little bit and use a different invert check layer. So I'm going to press F2, which is another action of mine. And let's reset this. Okay, perfect. Add a little more contrast. Okay, now for this one, just a second. Hey, I'm on live. All right. Okay, so for this one, this is not the invert check layer. So whenever you see a dark area, I can paint over with the dodge and lighten it up. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. So I'm almost done with this. All right, that should be good for the dodging. We're going to burn a few more spots, and then we can go ahead and get into frequency separation. All right, let's do it. Okay, now that we got dodging and burnout, and let's get into frequency separation. I have it as well, so I'm going to go ahead and press F4. Now for the number, I forgot what number we went for last time. I think it was 6 or 7. So let's see how 7 looks before, after. I like 7. We're going to do 7. All right. I got my mixer brush, and these are my settings. Estimated like 25 across the board. So now we're just going to blend in these colors. So on this action, what I've done so far is I turn the texture off. That way I'm not distracted at all by color. I'm sorry, by texture. So all I'm dealing with right now is mixing colors. So I'm not doing too many different things at once, and I don't have to worry about my image being flat. Every once in a while, I'll turn it off and back on to make sure I'm keeping the shape intact. And then I can make necessary adjustments. All I'm doing again is blending in these colors to make sure that there's no abrupt transition from shadows to highlights. We get some midtones in there to make it look a little more seamless. Smoothing this out a little more. So the goal of this frequency separation is to actually make the skin look plastic, because the texture is not added yet. The texture, that back on once we're done. So temporarily, this is the texture back on. This is before, this is after. We're just making everything more smooth. So we're going to turn the texture back off and continue working. So I'm going to try to do these videos once a week until my channel grows. I understand there's not going to be a lot of people tuned in yet, which is better for me because I get more time to practice without people catching on to my mistakes. Press E for the eraser tool and just clean that up. Now back to the brush tool. Whenever you're dealing with the cleavage area, it's usually a little lighter, so you want to keep it like that. This is where I would mix the colors in a little more. So far, I'm loving how this is looking. Gets a little tricky over here. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So I'm just making these areas a little more smooth. Eraser tool. Back to the brush tool. Let's zoom out. Okay, now we can work on the stomach. Now, stomach, I want to make sure I don't make her stomach, make the colors look too flat. I want to contour and go with the light. So kind of like a C shape. I want to keep the highlights and keep the shadows to sculpt her stomach. Okay, this looks a little rough. So let's zoom in. Now keep in mind, I'm able to see these colors really good right now, and that's only because I'm using this check layer to help me with contrast. Once I turn this check layer off, I won't be able to see all of these details so well. So I'm taking full advantage of this opportunity to correct any inconsistencies. Okay, let's see here. Before, after. Okay, I like that. Let's zoom out. Let's work on the legs now. My settings are obviously way too high, but we're just going to commit and try our best. I'll probably have to lower the opacity once I'm done with this. Yo, what they do, my boy? Yo, hey, I'm actually on live right now, so I'm gonna hit you up in like an hour. Nah. All right, cool. This look really smooth. Okay, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's try it again. I think now it's going to be time to zoom back out so I can see what I've done. This needs to be blended in more. Okay. Now let's add this texture back. And now it's time to clean up any blemishes that we missed the first round. Zoom out a little bit. I always like to go in around the eyebrow area and see if I can find any strands of hair. Make everything look a little more sharp. All right, let's zoom out. Okay, now we're going to turn this contrast layer off and get rid of it. So take a look at the legs before, after. Take a look at the stomach before, after, and the face before, after. We'll go ahead and zoom in as well. Before, oops, before, after, before, after. Okay, now there's a few areas where I want to color the skin a little more. So let's open this back up and create a blank layer. Zoom in just a little. Get my regular brush tool. Opacity, let's go to 4%. That's too much. Too much. Okay, now we're going to do some dodging and burning. Let's see here. Where's my micro dodging and burn? Here it goes. We're going to change the flow to 5%. And let's lift this up here. I know I made a mistake somewhere. Bear with me. Okay, we're going to take this dodge and burn and we're going to put it above here. Okay, so now we're going to turn off all our other layers so we can see before we edit the images where the highlight and contouring was at. So now we're going to go ahead and paint this and let's zoom out. Okay, so there was a highlight here. We're adding that back. Highlight here. everywhere that has a highlight, I'm just painting over it. Before, after. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the burning. Okay, let's cut all these layers back on. So these are the highlights, adding more shine, and these are the contouring. Oops. Contouring. Let's add a little more contouring. All right, that should be good. So now I'm going to drag this back down here, duplicate, make a copy, go back to the first one, and now we're going to feather everything. Same thing with the burner, we're going to feather that as well. Let's see, before, after. Okay, now let's lower this opacity. Before, after. Now for the second round, we're going to go back to burn. I'm going to feather this. Let me take a look at the chat again. Okay, we got another viewer. Okay. Let's zoom out and see how this ends up looking. Let's lower the opacity. Where is the feather? when it comes to the dodging. Let's lower this as well. I think I like this. Okay, now we're gonna work on her eyes. Let's see here. This looks beautiful. So before, after, before, after. Okay, let's see. Now for her eyes, we're going to zoom in here, click the remove tool. You're just gonna work on any veins. Invert this check layer, not the check layer, this mask. Click the brush tool, color at 100%. Just whiten the eyes. And we're going to zoom out a little bit. Obviously, this doesn't look real, so we're going to lower the opacity and probably pick something around there. Now we're going to lighten up her eyes as well. Let's go to levels. Let's lower this a little. I think that looks good. You know what? Let's make a group and then lower it. I think that looks real right there. Okay, now let's go ahead and, so the retouch image is pretty much done. We're just going to add a little more contrast, and then we can go ahead and call this a wrap. Let's see here. I'm going to go filter, retouch for me, portrait volumes. And then we go ahead and apply. Add this to the top of our edit. So this highlights and contours as well. We're going to put this to soft light and then lower the opacity. Let's zoom in a little bit. Now we're going to figure out how much is too much. Oh, I think right about here is good. So let's look at the before and the after. Before and after. Now we can go ahead and color grade this image as well. So first thing I want to do is add some contrast. I'm going to go 2 here, 252 here. Let's see how that looks. Before, after. I like it. Now we're going to go to our adjustments and color lookup table. And where is it? I always pass this. Okay. Color lookup table. I'm going to go here. Downloads. I believe it's under documents. Where's my documents? Actions, 3D LUTs. Prince Mason. Let's go to 6. Okay, do I like 6? Let's go to soft light. I think I like this. Oh, this is hot. This is hot. Yep. Before, after. The last thing I want to do is crop this image. So let's turn off this extra stuff. And put C for crop. And Instagram uses the 4:5 crop. Get a little creative here. I think right here should be good. And then we're going to put generative expand. Okay, that was easy peasy. And that is our retouched image, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to show you guys the before and after one more time. This was before, and this is after. Before, after. All right, let's go ahead and end this live. Stop sharing. Okay. Oh, shoot, I didn't even see Kamal. I'm here. Sorry, fam. I know. I'm super late. My first time on live. Oh, shoot. Let's go ahead and end this stream.